Background: I am male. At the time of this experience, I was 23 years old, weighed 125 pounds, and in good mental and physical health. I take no prescription or OTC medications, but use marijuana and yerba mate on a daily basis. I have a variety of substances, but my major interest lies in the psychedelics. For tryptamines at the time of the experience, I had familiarity with everything from mushrooms, LSD, Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, ayahuasca, yopo and sebel seeds, DMT, and 5-MeO DMT. For phenethylamines, at the time of this experience, I had familiarity with various species of Trichoceres cacti, 2CI, 2CE, MDMA, MDA, methylone, and some DOX blotters. I had also experimented with some dissociatives, such as salvia divinorum, nitrous oxide, ketamine, and DXM. This was by no means my first experience with DMT. I had been frequently experimenting with this substance on its own or in combination with other substances, and had gained a high level of comfortability, enjoyment, and awe of the experiences possible with this substance. Set and setting: my room, alone at nighttime. I had taken a small amount of MDMA earlier in the evening and was in a mood to continue exploring altered states of consciousness. I felt the desire to smoke some DMT, and so did my usual setup ritual: dim lighting, comfortably seated against the wall with a pillow at my back, and some calm, chill music lined up to anchor my consciousness during re-entry. The experience. As I rolled the stem of the pipe back and forth, heating, scrounging the remnants of DMT stuck to the sides of the glass vessel, I said, holding the flame and spinning the pipe, I asked to connect to my higher self. Show me something different. Show me something I haven't seen before. And then I breathed in. Once, hold, exhale. Once more feels natural. In, hold, just a little vapor coming up the tube. There was a dull humming sound, like that of an old and cranky vacuum cleaner. The kind of dull, grating mechanical noise that makes your head hurt. Every summer afternoon ruined by lawnmowers and weed whippers. Every dog terrified of the menacing, vibrating, ear-busting vacuum cleaner. This terrible, painful pressure in my skull seemed to be forcing my head downwards. I went with it, remembering how I have been directed into certain body positions before on DMT, to good effect. I was directed into a position of abasement, seeking to escape the pain. With a fanfare of trumpets, a tear opened up in the fabric of space and time. Something whispered to me that I was being brought into the presence of someone worthy of great respect, and that I was privileged. Through this hole made his entrance, a kind of gloating, gluttonous male entity. It was this thing making that terrible humming noise. For a moment, His Majesty spoke to me, though I couldn't understand the words. It reminded me of Star Wars: A New Hope. All right, yes, I went through a Star Wars geek phase, when all the droids are in a big sand transport and moving around, squeaking and twittering, and globbing at one another. This threw me off about as much as it would throw you off if your computer started trying to communicate to you based on its own personal language derived from its binary encoding. Or maybe your computer would suddenly be speaking fluid Japanese, surely the language of machines. Then I was back to being simply gloated over malevolently. The audience/hearing was closing. That vicious pain came back, inescapable this time. Something was all wrong about this. I said, "No." I will not be your servant. I will not be your servant, I cried. Leave this space now. The pain in my head was maddening as this invisible entity latched himself onto my skull, over the crown chakra, and pressing in at the hollow at the base of the skull. I found my perceptions being poked and prodded, seeking to maximize the painful and fearful effect. I did not let my shifting perceptions affect my centered and collected core. I sealed off my mind, a little protected kernel at the center of all the painful, fearful sensations I was experiencing. I wrote out the duration of the tryptamine flash. You cannot break my mind. I am too powerful. I can withstand whatever you throw at me. Your mind games do not trick me. Again I cried out, I will not be your servant. The pain in my head stepped up another notch. This is sacred space. You cannot be here. This house is protected. You cannot be here. I pictured the diamond-shaped protection rune encircling the entire house. With finality and strength in my voice, leave this space now. The grip on my skull loosened, and I shrugged him off, but he remained hovering in the ether. Burning of Russian sage to clear the area. At first my movements were shaky and hasty. I took the time to be calm and collected again, and then proceeded smoothly with the smudging. The dull pain was still there, tingling. This was one relentless little fucker. If you try to stay, I warned him, you have not just me to face. I was thinking of two of my roommates particularly, male and female, and powerful. You will not be tolerated in this space. We will throw you out. Leave now and never come back. Spitting venom, the treaty was made. I opened the window wide to allow his passage and watched as something I couldn't see, except as maybe a slippery, oily sheen to the air, slowly pull up its foul tentacles, its trailing eyeballs, and cytoplasmic brain netting devices drag its sorry ass out of my house. That's right, bitch. Hopefully he didn't slip across the street to terrorize someone else's sleep. Shit's getting serious now, boys and girls. If I wasn't so sane, I'd think I was going mad. Be careful what you wish for. Something different. Something I haven't seen before. Instant manifestation. I talked about this experience with one of my roommates the next day. He explained to me that any entity that shows up during a DMT experience is an entity that I have called in. They can try any trick in the book, manipulating my perceptions and emotions, trying to get me to give them power over myself. But ultimately, they have no power of their own over us, except that which we give them. Any entity which I call in must conform to my will, if asked enough times and with enough strength. This is a good thing to know when entering DMT space. When interacting with entities on the energetic plane, there is no way for them to hide their intentions towards us. My intuition on this one went off. There was something ill-intentioned and malevolent about this entity. It is wise to trust your intuitions in cases like this. Beware the psychic vacuum cleaner. Not all entities in DMT space are friendly. I learned a lot from this experience. It reminded me of the importance of stating my intentions very clearly and consciously before going into the experience. A conscious statement of intent serves to focus the experience, and I can rest assured that whatever I experience will be within my intent. After this experience, I started specifically inviting only those entities who are friendly, helpful, benevolent, and of positive intention for the good of all beings.